Hello guys, this is Ghana Raider and this is a report for today.
Adding to her woes, failed Democratic candidate Jasmine Crockett's Senate run is dead, and the spending receipts just dropped, and they are something else. According to reports now confirmed, the full campaign finance records are out, and what they reveal is exactly the kind of story that writes itself. Crockett, the loud, always on camera Texas congresswoman who built her brand on being the voice of the people, just ran one of the most embarrassing Senate campaigns in recent memory, and the numbers do not lie. Between December 2025 and February 2026, her campaign pulled in over $8.5 million. Nearly $3.5 million of that came straight from individual donors, real people who believed in her, opened their wallets, and handed her their hard-earned money. And what did Jasmine do with it? She spent over $5 million. $5 million, and still got absolutely smoked at the polls by James Tallarico. Now let us talk about where that money actually went, because this is where it gets good. Over $275,000 to a company called True Blue Digital for advertising. Fine. Over $200,000, $200,000 on text messages, just texts, to voters who clearly were not texting back. $40,000 on consultants who apparently had no idea what they were doing. $20,000 on website services. $10,000 on printing. $6,000 on media production. $1,800 on security. $1,200 on catering. And, wait for it, $528 at a fancy Texas steakhouse called Winsome Prime. $528 at a fancy restaurant. While her campaign was hemorrhaging cash and bleeding support. You honestly cannot make this up. But here's the part that should make every single donor who gave to this campaign absolutely furious. After all of that, after all the texts, the consultants, the dinners, the security bills, Jasmine Crockett ended this failed Senate run with $3.5 million still sitting in cash on hand. $3.5 million left over. Money that donors gave her to win. Money she raised on the promise of fighting for Texas. And she still could not get the job done. Now look at what James Tallarico did. While Crockett was burning through cash on text blasts and consultants, Tallarico pulled in over $20 million in receipts and spent nearly $16 million strategically, including a full $1 million on digital fundraising alone. He outspent her on actual voter outreach by a mile. He ran a real campaign. He put the money where it mattered. And the result? He did not just beat Jasmine Crockett, he buried her. This is what happens when you build a political career on clout and cameras instead of actual strategy. Crockett became a Democratic darling by going viral, by having sharp one-liners in committee hearings, by being the kind of politician that gets cheered on social media. And there is nothing wrong with being sharp and being visible, but social media clips do not win Senate primaries. Voters do. And voters in Texas looked at Jasmine Crockett's campaign, looked at what she stood for, looked at how she operated, and said no thank you. And let us not forget the bigger picture here. The Democratic Party spent years telling Texas voters that they were on the verge of turning the state blue. They pumped money into races, propped up candidates, and sold the dream of a Texas political revolution. Jasmine Crockett was supposed to be part of that wave. Instead, she spent $200,000 on texts, ate a $500 steak dinner on donor money, and handed the race to her opponent without putting up a real fight. The grassroots donors who gave to this campaign deserve better. The voters who believed in her message deserved better. Instead, they got a campaign that spent big, strategized poorly, lost decisively, and walked away with millions still in the bank. Jasmine Crockett will return to Congress. She still holds her House seat. She will still get her camera time, still get her viral moments, still get the applause from the left-wing media machine that propped her up in the first place. But the Senate, Texas said no. The receipts said why. And the $3.5 million sitting in her campaign account at the finish line says everything about how seriously she really took this race. Adding to her woes indeed.